10, Marketa Vondrousova. Number 9, Sloane Stephens. Number 8, Beatrice Haddad-Maia. Number 7, Yelena Ostapenko. Number 6, Madison Keys. Number 5, Danielle Collins. Number 4, Coco Gauff. Number 3, Elena Rybakina. Number 2, Arina Sabalenka. And number 1, Iga Świątek.
Ready. Play.
Hello, welcome very much back to Talking Tennis. Very excited to be here. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? It's an exciting day of tennis ahead. Bank holiday Monday in the UK. Good to get and watch another full day of first round matches.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same. Bank holiday usually for me would be, it's looking pretty nice out today, but it doesn't even matter to me today. There's too much tennis to even enjoy the weather.
Yeah, yesterday was really, really good. I mean, I usually find Sunday starts can be a bit hit and miss, but yesterday I think was a hit.
Yeah, what was your best match that you watched yesterday?
Oh, good question. I don't know. I felt like there was so much going on. Like a lot of it's actually like escaped my mind. I mean, I did watch. I think the only full match I watched was Wawrinka and Murray, and although it was a nice ending, it wasn't the best match. It was a bit depressing. There was a good few five setters. I think I'm trying to think who else played a five setter. I know that the Jarry Mute match was full of drama. But yeah, it was a good day. What was your favourite moment?
Probably a bit sentimental rather than tennis related, but I loved watching Richard Gasquet win against Coric. I thought he did really well for it, and also his backhand sort of down the line pass winner is just like Pete Gasquet. It was such a brilliant way to end the whole match, and yeah, he was really emotional afterwards, and it was quite brilliant.
Yeah, because he hasn't really had the best year, and neither has Coric, but it just goes to show when you've got your home crowd behind you, like it's a different situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the big thing. It was exactly the same with, as you say, the Mute Jarry match. I did watch some of that when I couldn't quite bear to keep Murray Wawrinka on, and that atmosphere was absolutely crazy, and that was exactly. I don't think Mute would have played half the shots he played last night if he hadn't had that crowd behind him. So that was quite special as well. Today, obviously, we are sort of focusing on Jannik Sinner against Chris Eubanks, and then when it starts, Ons Jabeur against Sasha Vickery. Sinner's just started. Eubanks is serving first, at least on my screen. I don't know if it's the same for you.
Yeah. It's 15 on my screen.
We'll start with that then, since that's our sort of the first match. What are you expecting from Jannik Sinner today?
I mean, I think respectfully, I think it's a good draw for him. I think it's a good match for him to start, get back onto the match court after his injury. I don't think Eubanks has won a match on clay this year, or I think he's lost 6 in a row. So it's a nice draw, I would say. And I think his draw in general is workable. I think it's just about him really just feeling comfortable on the court again and getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I feel like, he's sort of assured us that the hip seems fine to a point, and I'm inclined to believe him, but also just slightly skeptical as to how it'll stand up in a 5-setter, for example, or if he kind of goes deep in the tournament. But he wouldn't have come and played here if it wasn't a lot better than it was. So I think and it's certainly, like you say, to have Chris Eubanks to start. I love Chris Eubanks, but on clay, he's probably not going to be too much of a challenge. Yeah.
And also, I suppose the thing is, there was a lot of reports coming into the tournament that Sinner was going to pull out, but I think and like you say, I think he's a sort of player that if it was going to be like bad for his career, he wouldn't have played this tournament. I think he would have made the sensible decision and not risked it. So I think the fact that he has decided to play really does prove that he is feeling comfortable.
Yeah, he won't be playing for any sort of sentimental reasons. For example, when Carlos Alcaraz decided to play Madrid, even though that was still bothering him, that felt a little bit like home tournament on the clay in Spain, defending champion. Those were all sort of aspects that made him. But there's nothing like that to make Sinner want to play the French Open this year. So he must be fit and feel ready.
Yeah, he's got plenty of years ahead of him to play this tournament, and also here, literally, there's a very good chance he'll play on the grounds of Roland Garros again this year at the Olympics. So I think he's feeling okay. Whether that will change as the matches go on, we don't know. But I think he'd like a nice straight setter to begin the tournament today.
Yeah, I totally agree. As Chris Eubanks just seals that first game, even though it was deuce, so a little bit of a half chance for Sinner there. Just having a look at the other matches we've got on the screen, any of those jump out to you as being ones to kind of keep an eye on?
I suppose you've got Samsonov and Linette. I feel like that's one that could go either way. I think, obviously, Vondrousova against Masarova, I think Vondrousova should win that match, but Vondrousova is inexplicable to me. Like, you just never know whether she's going to lose first round or win the entire tournament. And so it'd be interesting to see. I think she's in Swiatek's either quarter or half, I forget. So it'd be interesting to see if she does make it to her quarter.
Yeah, I think she's in Swiatek's quarter, isn't she? So
I thought.
Yeah, I don't know whether she'll sort of make it that far. I don't think she has in my bracket, but I can't quite remember. But she's doing well so far. She's a breakup already on Masarova. The other one for me that I think, I'm just trying to have a look, that I thought stood out today. Svitolina Pliskova.
I suppose the whole day I think I was looking at the current live matches, but yeah.
Yes, no, you're right. That is what I said, to be fair. I just thought of it. Svitolina Pliskova later, I think, is one to watch. I think that's be really interesting, particularly on clay, where it's maybe not as good a matchup for Svitolina.
Yeah, and I suppose the only thing that Svitolina might have is that I don't think Pliskova played either Madrid or Rome, and I think she came back for Strasbourg but lost in the opening round.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if she's feeling on a top form.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can't go without mentioning Nadal and Zverev.
Of course.
It's the big one.
It is. How are you feeling about that? Are you a fan of either player, or have you got any sort of investment in it?
I like Nadal, is how I'll put it. Obviously, it's just like what he's done at this tournament on clay and just in his career. It's like incredible, ridiculous. And the thing is, everyone's going on about how bad a draw it is for Nadal, and it's not a good draw. Like it's a horror draw, but it's also not a good draw for Zverev. Like he would not have wanted this draw at all. And Nadal at Roland Garros, although he hasn't been doing what we've been used to seeing him do, you just never know.
Yeah, you're totally right. I don't think I haven't seen anyone say it's actually not a good draw for Zverev either.
Yeah.
But it's such a good point. He would never have wanted that as a first round. And I don't know. I was saying yesterday on stream, I've been sucked in a little bit by this sort of optimism that Rafa seems to have himself, his press conferences. Sort of when the draw first came out, I was like, oh, great. Yes. But now that he's sort of like, I'm feeling good in practice and I feel better than I was here, and Medvedev's talked about him being better than in Madrid and Rome and stuff, I've been bamboozled by it. I've got some optimism.
Yeah, it's that's the thing, and it's like, although that's all promising, it's one thing being good in practice to then putting that into a match, and it's his first 5-set tournament since the 2023 Australian Open when he obviously got that injury, and let's just hope it doesn't go to 5 sets, because I don't think that would favour him in the slightest.
No, I don't think so. He'd probably have to win it quite quickly if he's going to win it at all. But I don't know. I've got some hope, but I think it's going to be a tough watch either way, as I am a fan of Nadal, as you put it. So yeah, it'll be it'll be a good watch regardless, and I'm sure the stadium will be packed, maybe even the corporate scenes.
Yeah. I saw Wawrinka making a few comments about that.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
not
dear.
good.
No, not good. I thought it was quite funny the way he put it though.
Yeah, he's not shy of speaking his mind, and I do like that.
Yeah.
I suppose you've also got the night match tonight with Monfils and I always butcher this name, but I think it's Zboch Filch, but which could be interesting. Obviously, Monfils hasn't been in good form, but again, the French crowd at night, they're going to be rooting for him.
Yeah, and I think he hasn't been in good. You're right. He really hasn't been in good form, Monfils. But part of me thinks, he's had enough good form this year as a whole. I think for that French crowd to lift him up to another level, whether it's a good enough level to beat Zverev on clay, because he is so good on clay.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think we'll see a better Monfils than we have done.
I think he's not sort of the person who needs the form. I think it's the occasion will lift him more than anything.
A couple of break points for Sinner on my screen.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, Eubanks has served 3 double faults already. We're only on his second service game, so not a great serving start. Oh, and he does take the break. That was pretty straightforward for Jannik Sinner.
It was a confident start. Just going back to the matches, just scrolling through, I think Andriescu Sorribes Tormo intrigues me because obviously Andriescu hasn't played a lot recently. She withdrew from Rabat last week, so I actually would be surprised if that even happens, just because of all the injury struggles she's had. But it's not a good draw because if you've been injured and you want to try and get back into the swing of things, Sorribes Tormo is a horror opponent for you to have to play.
Terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like guaranteed 3-hour match.
Yeah, absolutely. Regardless of result, it will just take ages to get there. And I would back Sorribes Tormo in that one. I just think she's looked good so far on clay, and like you say, Bianca's still struggling.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you catch any of?
Sorry, go on. I was just going to say Hugo Gaston's got an early break on Ben Shelton, which is interesting.
Oh, nice. That's quite impressive. They're on court 14, so that's a relatively big one if I'm getting my courts right, I think, for the home favourite. So that might lift him a bit.
Yeah, God, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was only going to say, did you catch any of Alcaraz yesterday?
No, I didn't actually, but I was following the score. I mean, it seemed very... I think he got broke in the first game, and then after that just run away with it.
Yeah.
And again, like Sinner, it was a pretty good draw. I forget who is... I don't know if he always had Wolf, but Wolf was a lucky loser, so it's not a bad draw, is it?
No, I forget. Like you, I've forgotten already who he did have before that. I think it was a pretty good draw already from what I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a bit torn watching that one because I thought Alcaraz looked good, obviously dominant, and it was a good sort of warm-up match for him. But at the same time, he wasn't challenged too much. Wolf certainly wasn't playing brilliantly, really struggling to hold his own serve. So sort of difficult to take much for me anyway from that in terms of Alcaraz's success in the tournament as a whole.
Yeah, and it's a tricky one because obviously now he's got Jesper de Jong in the next round, and it's kind of a strange one because on paper you'd say that Draper would have been the harder opponent, but then obviously de Jong beat Draper, so it's what do you take from that? And obviously de Jong played a 5-step match as well, so
I think it's a much more interesting matchup than it might appear on paper.
Yeah, I think Wolf hasn't really been in good form, whereas De Jong has shown a bit more form. He obviously came through qualifying.
Yeah. Really simple service game there for Jannik Sinner yet again.
Just out of interest, who did you have? I mean, it's very early days, but I'm assuming you did a bit of a prediction. Who did you have winning the men's tournament? Because I found this very, very tricky. I don't even know if I agree with my own prediction, but it's just the way it ended up.
I'm exactly the same. I came on stream yesterday and immediately just started basically trying to account for what my predictions were. I was like, oh, well, I didn't, but I think everyone's the same. We just don't know who's going to win the men's draw this year, right? So it's really hard to predict. I did go with Alcaraz in the end.
So did I.
Yeah, I switched last minute actually. I'd my original prediction, I'd put Casper Ruud, and then I looked at it about 15 minutes before the tournament. I was like, no, I don't think he is. So yeah, I've gone with Alcaraz, but not with much conviction, like you said.
Yeah. I don't know who I think is going to win, but it kind of just, I was like, I think Alcaraz might win that match. It might win that match. Or he's in the final, right? Let's go for it. Because I back him to win the bigger matches. I think he's a really big game player, and as much as I think this is Ruud's, I know he's made 2 finals before, but I think this should be his chance. But I just don't know if I back him to win the big matches like I would at Alcaraz. Yeah. I would like him to. I think it'd be great if he won it, but I just don't know if he will.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love Casper Ruud to win a slam. I think it would be quite nice for him to take that step up and silence quite a lot of people. But I don't know if it's going to happen. So I went with Alcaraz, but yeah, I no real logic for it. Could be any number of like at least 10 of them.
Definitely. More break points for Sinner.
Yeah. Ooh. Went for the drop shot there, just didn't quite come off. It's probably the first point where I've seen Sinner do something that's not quite worked.
It just feels like it's all on his racket. It feels like Eubanks is just struggling to know what to do with any of his shots.
Yeah. A decent return from Sinner gets him the break. Nothing too special, but decent. And it might be a similar story today with Sinner as it was with Alcaraz yesterday, in that he might not be challenged enough for us to really see how well he could do in this tournament.
That's the thing, is that all the top 3 seeds have got pretty good draws for the first round. I mean, I suppose Djokovic does have to contend with the French crowd against the French wildcard, but he would have been happy with that draw, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because I think he begins tomorrow, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Against Jabeur, I assume.
Yes.
Pronunciation. No, I think Djokovic will have been pretty happy with that draw. third round, obviously it depends on how everyone does. Third round, in theory, he gets Musetti, which might be a tough-ish, but like the good kind of tough that he could come through. And then
sorry, go on. I was going to say that I think Musetti would be a bigger issue in best of 3. I think best of 5, Djokovic is. I mean, did they play a few years ago, or have I made that up?
They did, yeah. 2021, 4th round, I think.
And did Musetti retire in the 5th set?
Yeah.
I think that was a thing.
Yeah, it was. He was 2 sets up, Musetti, and then he lost the next 2. I can't remember the scoreline, but really badly.
Yeah, and then he just.
Yeah.
Thank God, I think you were going through his draw.
Oh, I was only going to say I've got. I'm not happy with this pick for myself at all, but I have got Tommy Paul beating Djokovic.
That's really weird, because so have I. I know I have.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I just feel like Tommy Paul is a sort of person who could, like, I feel like he does challenge the top players, even though consistently he might not be top 5. But I think against top 5 opponents, he causes a lot of problems.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about occasion players. I think Tommy Paul has that sort of like, on a big stage, he'll obviously be on one of the main courts. I think he could really rise to that, especially at the moment.
Definitely. I just think when you've got as vulnerable a Djokovic as you could probably get, I think it's now or never for opponents to sort of say, like, I'm going to really push you as much as I can, because I just don't think Djokovic feels as confident as he's used to, especially going to a Grand Slam. Like, he has won a title all year, he hasn't reached a final all year, and that's as good as Djokovic is. That's going to play on his mind.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Djokovic is incredible. Who wouldn't? Honestly, he's such a brilliant player, and I'm still expecting at some point for this sort of run of poor form to turn around. I certainly don't think he's finished by any means, but I think it'll be difficult for him to do that here to win the tournament.
It's a weird one, because like I obviously have predicted him to lose the 4th round. Whether he will or not, I don't know. I don't think he'll win the title, but at the same time, would I be shocked if he won the title? Probably not.
No.
It's Djokovic. How can you be shocked?
Yeah.
Eubanks,
I'm a little bit shocked that Eubanks has break points here.
I was going to say this was not how things looked like it was going to go, but whether he takes them, it's a different.
Yeah. Usually Sinner cooks up 2 aces at this point, and then you're like, oh, that was quick. Oh no, I've totally jinxed him.
Yeah,
He's done double fault.
Commentator curse.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, Yannick. Wow. He gets one of the breaks back, but it's still 4-2 to Yannick Sinner, so not changing.
I could be wrong, but I feel like that's an anomaly in the scoring. I don't think this is going to close much more than that. To be honest, I think it wouldn't surprise me if you just got the double break back straight away.
Yeah, no. This is exactly, and again, to draw the comparison between the two, but this is exactly what happened in Alcaraz's 3rd set yesterday. Wolf did break him and got back one of the 2 breaks that Alcaraz had, and Alcaraz just broke him straight back and then went on and closed it out. So, yeah.
Sunu Kwon is up a double break on Rusevori, which Rusevori hasn't been in good form. I do say that as Rusevori has 2 break back points. Well, from one of the breaks back. And Vondrousova is 5-love up on Masarova. Tough scene for Masarova. Yeah. I also think our other match we're covering today could be an interesting one because Jabeur, I think she is starting to find her feet. I feel like the injury is less relevant now to her form, but I don't think Sasha Vickery, as much as she's obviously like a lower ranked opponent and a wild card, I don't think it's the nicest of draws. I think she can cause problems. I could be wrong, but was it Vickery who challenged Goff in Stuttgart?
Yeah, no, totally right. As far as I remember, anyway. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was Vickery, and like really could have won that match, but obviously Goff is a fighter and doesn't give up to the final ball. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I think 7-5 in the third, was it, that one?
I remember watching that match. I enjoyed that match. Yeah, 7-5 in the third.
Yeah, depending on which sort of Ons Jabeur we see today, because I like you say, I have seen her play a lot better at times in sort of much more recent weeks. So I think she could see. It's weird. It's a bit like you said with Djokovic. She could sort of walk through it, and it's completely really easy for her. She could make it really, really hard, but still come through. Vickery could sort of make it really easy. I've got no idea with that.
Yeah. I just don't think Jabeur wanted to be scrappy. I don't think Jabeur wanted to be a tight match because I think that's where perhaps her lower confidence could come to the detriment of her. I mean, her recent losses, she's lost 2 in a row, but Keys in Madrid, and Keys has been in great form, and Kenin in Rome, which Kenin is inexplicable as well. So it's I feel like I forget what the score of that match was, but I'm pretty sure Jabeur bageled in the first set.
Yeah. I watched that match. It was so weird.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, she's also beat Ostapenko, Fernandez, and Schmiedlover is a good clay court player. So there's more positive signs than, say, a month or 2 ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Nerlin. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're doing well. I see that you that's what people want to see, and now you're here. So good stuff.
Clearly not a Masarova fan.
No, not at all. Poor Masarova. I mean, I don't want to comment on that match as I'm not watching it, but yes, it does look like Vondrousova is making quick work of Masarova.
She did hold her serve in fairness to make it 5-1.
Yeah, so not a bagel.
Yes.
Looks like Gaston is going to be serving for this first set in a minute.
Yes. I mean, Gaston is I would kind of put him in the Mute category as someone who just is a different level in front of his home crowd. Like he just loves to use the crowd to spur him on. I think I cursed Magdalene as well because I said that would be a close match with Samsonova, but it's currently 4-love to Samsonova. So,
yeah, that's.
Sorry, Magda.
I always feel like I've cursed people. I wrote an article that I posted yesterday, sort of ahead of the French Open, and trying to find a bit of a different angle and talking about all these South American players, particularly on the ATP, who I think have been brilliant recently and were worth watching. And obviously, immediately, Tabilo and Nico Jarry both featured heavily in the article.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's a completely fair thing to say because they have probably excelled more than anyone, especially recently.
Yeah.
Tabilo was a weird one. Like I know Jerry is the higher ranked player and is the better player, but I kind of feel like Jerry's loss makes more sense to me
Yes.
than Tabilo's.
Tabilo's was really strong. I watched some of it and he just didn't look on it at all.
Because I know there was a bit of previous between Mute and Jerry from Santiago, so I think there was probably a bit of extra motivation.
Yeah. Some rather interesting comments from Mute's coach prior to that match.
I saw them. Some would say over the top, but
yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's probably fair. Oh, hi Sean, thanks for joining. 5 yesterday. Look, that was the there were enough matches for the 5 of us for sure. But yeah, we'll have 3 soon. Nick will be joining us, but it shouldn't get too crazy. I wouldn't imagine.
It's important for Sinner to hold down because as much as I did think that he might get the double break back, you don't want the momentum to swing too much. Because I really did think it'd be 6-1, but
yeah, I know I'm the same.
not.
I was really shocked that Eubanks managed to hold there because Sinner did have break points, but
yeah.
that's a great point from Eubanks and just missing the net at the end.
It's one of them where like the finish doesn't deserve, like the whole point didn't deserve that finish.
Yeah. Eubanks is another one for me that's a bit of an occasion player, and I'm not sure 10 a.m. on Suzanne Longland really fits in with, or 11 a.m. sorry, there with that.
Yeah, I think he's probably, I could be wrong, but I feel like he's one of the Americans who likes the clay court season to be over before it started. And I think sometimes that mindset, because I think the same with a lot of the British players, that sometimes mindset might play into, because even if it's subconscious, it is going to feed into the way you play and how motivated you are for these tournaments.
Yeah.
I think Eubanks is quite streaky as well. When he gets a few wins together, then it starts to, like, oh, Eubanks is looking good. But when you lose in first, second round, it's hard to get that sort of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be really hard for him in the grass season coming up with all the points he's got to defend.
That could be
pressure.
The pressure is a lot. Gaston did not actually need to serve out because he ended up breaking Shelton to take the set.
Oh, no way.
Which is surprising, really, considering Shelton's serve.
Yeah, and impressive.
To get 2 breaks.
Shelton had another shock, might be a bit far, but relatively shock loss to Caboli in Geneva, right? In the first.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I remember Caboli ended up, well, I think he had a match point against Ruud in the semi-final. So it's probably one of the ones where it's like Shelton's on paper a better tennis player, but Caboli is more suited to the clay, and
yeah. Court 14. It is a cool court, actually. I've watched quite a bit of Court 14 yesterday, and I quite liked the the vibes on court 14 then, but I bet they're not jumping up and down as they were for Mute last night.
Pretty important hold there for Sinner.
Yeah. I think so, just to stop that, like you say, stop that momentum from going any further.
Yeah.
And it sort of looks like whether he breaks for it or serves for it, he can probably get this first set done and then see about the second.
Well, one thing I will say is that the hip doesn't seem to be a relevant factor at all so far. I mean, it is early days, but it's good signs.
Absolutely.
Because the thing is, whatever your favourite player is, I just think you want the best players to be fit, and because it's a Grand Slam, you want it to be. It's nice that it's open, but for the best players to all be going for it is always better, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think I've spoken about this before on stream. I don't mind like a tournament where you get like surprise people who move through the draw, and you get somebody shocking in the semi-finals and all of that. But I think if you've got a Grand Slam where, for example, there was no Djokovic, no Alcaraz, no Sinner, that's a bit of a different story if you don't get to see them play at all.
Yeah, because I think the shocks are what make the Grand Slams and tennis just so good as a whole. But the shocks, for the shocks to happen, they need to have the best players to kind of create those shocks. Because like as much as Ruud or Tsitsipas losing is a shock, it's not quite the same impact as a Djokovic losing or an Alcaraz losing.
No.
And the thing is, as much as the women's draw is, there's a clear favourite. I still don't feel like it's like, well, we know who's going to win. There's still a lot that could happen in 7 matches.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I picked Iga to win. I think Iga will win, but I think for some people it's almost like already a given that she's winning the tournament, and I think that's probably a little bit far. I think there's a lot of matches between now and then.
I don't know if there's any such thing as a given in a Grand Slam in tennis, and I always think that people like say whatever they want about best of 5, best of 3, but best of 3 is a lot more tricky to, like, if you're having a bad start, it's so much harder to like stop that, like, because you've got only a certain amount of games to stop the rut, and in a best of 5 set, like, you've got the time to sort of gradually work your way back in and find your form, and it's kind of the proofs in the pudding in Masters events where there's a lot more surprises.
Hello.
Right. What's happening? What have I missed?
Sinner's doing reasonably well. He was 4-1 up, was it?
Yeah.
But it's now 5-3, so the gap's closed slightly.
And so I take it that Eubanks on clay is not that much of a walkover for him.
Well, no, I mean, form would suggest that would be the case, but it actually there's been some decent rallies, and Eubanks has, I would say, pleasantly surprised me so far.
Okay. There's a good performance from Eubanks. He's going to be happy enough with that. So are you both watching Sinner Eubanks right now?
We are, indeed. I'd feel free to watch whatever you fancy watching. I think there's a lot of interesting ones going on right now.
All right, okay. I was taking an episode of Friends on. No. Yeah, there's a few interesting ones around. I mean, like my first choice would have been Samsonova Lynette, but I can see that's looking quite one-sided so far, and that's not in the direction I thought either. Jabeur Vickery does start in 15 minutes as well, so I think whatever I do will probably be until that starts. The other match that I'm seeing that our producer is watching is Shelton Gaston, apparently, which is rocking, but I don't know if I should be watching that if I can't hear it.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Well, it looks like Sinner's got the job done, which I kind of expected, so he's restored that double break.
Yeah. Got the first set.
Yeah. What matches did you end up managing to watch yesterday, Matt?
So I saw, like I mentioned, I saw Murray Wawrinka, which it wasn't the nicest experience of my life. Like it was a nice embrace at the end of the match, but it was quite sad, I would say. From a Murray perspective, anyway, at least. I saw a bit. I felt like I watched a lot of deciding sets. There was quite a few 5-set I watched yesterday, a few tie breaks. I don't feel like, other than Murray Wawrinka, I saw many full matches.
Yeah, I was talking to Murray about this on Last Ball Drops last night, and he was very much his schedule today, and I think what he did yesterday as well was very much watch a bit of every match that he could. I'm very much I'm committing to a match and I'm watching it from start to finish unless it's absolutely awful. And I'll just have to sort of have, and if there's another match going on that's interesting, then if I can dual screen it, then I will. But it's not. But I prefer to know the story of what's going on. Otherwise, if it gets to a point where like there's 7 matches where I want to know what's happening, which happened at Wimbledon at one point, then it gets ridiculous. But yeah, so is that what you prefer to do? You prefer to just sort of hop around and sort of see a bit of everything?
I think it's very dependent. I think obviously Grand Slams, you've got like so much going on in the first few days. I think it's more when I don't have a particular player that I want to focus on. Like there was a few times yesterday where I was just like, I'll watch anything. I was watching Zidansek and Van Uytvanck at one point, which was an experience. And
there's a lot of slicing, a lot of junk balling, right?
Yeah, but I loved it. Like it's fun. It's what makes Grand Slams, and it's like you could have first rounds of Zverev and Nadal, and also a first round of Squire and Purcell. Like it doesn't make sense, but it's great.
Kira, where are you at with your Grand Slam scheduling?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a weird mix of the two, because I definitely don't just sort of jump around too much. I definitely am a dual screener when possible. Yesterday I had 3 at my peak, but I don't like to jump around too much, but I do I find myself doing that more in the evening when certain matches are winding down and you get certain ones that I'm just going to watch the end of this match, and now I'm going to watch the end of this match. So I do a lot of jumping around in the evening, but sort of during the day I tend to pick 2 or 3 matches and get the screens ready and watch those.
Evening makes sense because you're kind of winding down, so you want to catch the ones that you're like, like I could probably see a bit of everything at this rate. Like I was doing that last night with whilst on Last Ball Drops, catching Wong versus Niemeyer, then going over to Gerard Altmaier, realizing I was going to go on, so I watched the end of Atmane Offner, and then went back to Gerard Altmaier, which ended up being quite a match in the end. That was probably ended up being the best match of the day. Unless you're a Gasquet fan, of course.
Yeah, I've already talked about Gasquet. I loved it.
Have you? Was that like the moment of the tournament for you? Like Gasquet?
Well, certainly. I'm sure it won't be the moment of the tournament by the end of it, but for yesterday, certainly it was. I don't know. I just thought it was for sentimental reasons more than anything. I thought it was a really nice win, and it meant so much to him. And I think that's one of the things I love about tennis is how much it means to the players, and you could see how much it meant to him. So
there's still a lot of love for Richard Gasquet out there, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely, rightly so. That backhand, come on.
Yeah, he's also one of my mum's favourite players. Where are you at on Gasquet, Matt?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like a super fan, but I could appreciate, like, I could appreciate a good one-handed backhand, and it's nice to see. I feel like as a Brit, like I feel like you can appreciate when a home player does well at their home slam, and like especially a veteran, like it'll be kind of for us if Murray does well at Wimbledon. And obviously Gasquet hasn't had the best year last few months, but it's nice to see him get a good result yesterday. I don't know who he's got in the second round actually.
He'll get the winner of this match, Eubanks Sinner.
Oh dear.
Yes, which it looks like Sinner's getting up there because he's just gone love 30 up with a impressive reach backhand there. Love 40 actually. So how? Actually, this is something. I mean, I've been trying to keep a little bit of an eye on it whilst talking to you, but I am not an expert on these things at all. So someone who might know what they're talking about, how is Sinner looking? Because I think that was the big question going into this with the hip. Is he moving all right? Is he hitting through his shots all right? Is there anything to suggest that there is an issue that could be holding him back later on in the tournament?
I mean, from my perspective, I would say not. I think I said like there's nothing really that stands out. I mean, I'm not an expert either, but he looks fairly Sinner-like. He doesn't look like he's doing anything. He doesn't like he's holding anything. He just seems to be like he's been hit some great backhands, like the one he's just hit there. Yeah, it seems fine to me.
Just seeing an epic backhand that clips the line from Jannik Sinner. That was insane. He's got the break for 2-love in the second set. I think this match is kind of straightforward at the minute, but he is looking good to me as well. Producer, maybe we should get an expert on. Unless Kira, you know what you're looking for.
Sorry, I was just muted because they're doing the bins outside my window. It's really loud. But no, I'm not going to claim expert status either, I'm afraid, but he looks all right.
We need more people on the team with actual medical healthcare training.
We need a physio, right?
We need a physio on the team. I mean, not just to just tell about the players. Like I could do with a back massage right now.
Yeah,
sitting in a chair all day. Gosh, I really am giving diva vibes on this stream, aren't I? Sharp light, right out of bed when I want,
and demand a massage.
Treatment. And then, like a diva, I'm going to go and watch another match completely to one you're watching. I think I'm kind of done with this one.
It is a bit straightforward for my tastes, I'll be honest. It's good to see Sinner playing good tennis, but
I think if I was watching as a fan, I think I would have switched over.
What, even if you were a Sinner fan?
Maybe not as a Sinner fan, but like I like Sinner, but I wouldn't say I'm a fan. Like I appreciate he's a good player, and I think he seems like a nice guy.
Oh yeah, totally. Right, I think let's see if the second set between Samsonova and Linette is going to be any more competitive than the first. Maybe that's optimistic, but right now that's probably one I'll go with until Jabeur gets underway. I'm just having a look at the other scores. Vondrousova set the breakup against Masarova. That's good for Vondrousova because we weren't like she could be very hot and cold and has had some patchy results. Also has him set up against Nishioka, no breaks in the second yet. Potapova set the breakup against Rakhimova. Shevchenko setting a breakup against Karatsev. Squire set the breakup against Purcell. Kwon just won the first set against Rizavori. Days won the first set against Baptiste, but Baptiste is a breakup in the second. And Paolini's a set in the breakup. And then you've got Shelton and Gaston, which looks like that might be going to a set, or Shelton's a breakup in the second. Got some interesting options, but yeah, I think Shelton and Gaston would be the one I would be going for if I was able to listen to it. Maybe I need to get some headphones. But yeah, so I think I'll put on Samson of Lynette for a bit. I will go full on WTA fan. I wouldn't say it's niche because Samsonov is a 2-time Masters 1000 finalist, and Lynette is a former Grand Slam semi-finalist. But maybe niche if you are newer to tennis.
Yeah.
So, which matches are you playing? Which matches are you planning on watching today? What's on your watch list, Kira?
What isn't?
All of them. I need
all of them.
Screens.
Every single one. No. I mean, it's a lot of the obvious ones. Today might be one of the rare times where I have Eager on a small screen, because I feel like there might be more interesting matches on at the same time that might be slightly more competitive. Not to be disrespectful to Jean-Jean, but just in terms of Eager's form, I think that one might be straightforward. So obviously I'll be watching Rafa later. Some obvious ones. I said earlier the Pliskova Svitolina is quite interesting to me. Gael Monfils, of course. I love Gael Monfils. I'm always going to watch Gael Monfils. Danielle Collins, if I can catch it. I could just go on and on. Honestly, I could just sit here and talk through pretty much every match, why I want to watch it.
That would make sense. Maybe, yeah. I think if any of us come into an insane amount of money, one of us, we might end up investing in a room that has got 20 screens in it, so you can watch every Grand Slam match going on at the same time.
Perfect.
Call it the Talking Tennis Hub.
If we did have some sort of hub, the Talking Tennis Hub, and we all brought our own devices, surely we would all have we'd have at least 20 laptops.
That is true. Yes, we could probably do that. The team's big enough. I reckon you could get at least 16 laptops in one room.
Exactly.
Extras. Yeah, you could do that. The only problem is, one, which who's got a room big enough? Two, which country?
Good point.
There's a lot of logistical issues.
Yes, we are an international platform. We have no strong loyalties to any particular country here. Jane is also like fully embracing multi-screen life with the bandwidth that she's got.
I find it impressive with using the phone. If I ever try to use the phone, I just end up getting really annoyed at all the sort of squinting that I'm doing.
Yes, I tend to use the phone I will keep it. The match is kind of, I really, really need to see this match. And I'm traveling, or it's like a lower priority match compared to others. That's where I'm at with that one. But yes, I think if you see my Wimbledon multi-screen setup, the phone did have to come out at some point. What about you, Matt? Where are you at with the scheduling for today?
All over the place, to be quite frank. I think. I mean, I said earlier that Andreescu's Sorribes Tormo intrigues me, just really to see how Andreescu's feeling. She pulled out of Rabat last week, and it's kind of I don't think it's a nice draw. I think Sorribes Tormo is probably hell for a player who wants to try and work their way back to fitness. But yeah, it'll be intriguing. I'll probably torture myself with Harriet Dart Noskova just for some British clay court.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I think, oh, a Brit's playing, and then I think, oh, why am I watching this? But it will depend on what else is on. But yeah, I try and be loyal to my country, but it's difficult in the clay court season.
I feel like, yes, we were saying this yesterday, all the Brits are basically just wanting clay to be done, apart from maybe Cameron Norrie.
Yes.
And only just.
Yeah, in fact, his draw is not horrendous, but it's not nice. I think Kotov has had some good results recently.
There's a lot of people thinking Kotov can beat Norrie today, or will beat Norrie today.
It wouldn't.
John's one of them, isn't
he? John is one of them. I think Mary is one of them as well.
Because I think he'll play Wawrinka if he wins. Because I think, again, the bias Brit in me had Norrie Murray in the second round, and that'll probably be Kotov Wawrinka. So,
yeah, you went with Norrie Murray. That was optimistic.
I have to be. It keeps me going.
Wow,
Wimbledon's a much more fun time. There's more Brits to choose from.
I guess that's true. I'm pretty controversial. I don't watch Brits just because they're Brits. I think I've only ever seen one Jodie Barrage match, possibly. So I tend to go where the best matches are. Yeah, I think at the minute the only British player I would consider a favourite of mine to watch is Murray. No, Emma as well. But yeah. That's more just out of frustration on her behalf.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And Sanders is just broken for centre break. Go on, Matt.
I was going to say, and also Emma is fun to watch. It just seems to be a bit stop-start at the moment, but I'm sure the grass court season will provide some more fun.
I think that would be nice, especially if anyone's going to go watch her at Nottingham or Eastbourne. She's got wild card.
I do plan a Nottingham trip this year, so
Nottingham's a good event to go. I mean, I've never been, but I really want to go. I just can't go this year.
It's the first one I went to, and I enjoy it because I've been to Birmingham as well, and I like Birmingham, but I would slightly give Nottingham the edge.
Yeah, I need to go. I've heard so many good things about Nottingham, but I can't go this year. Next year, maybe. Yeah. So, that's all right. All right. Well, how much is Sinner motoring? By the way, we probably have people wondering why we're talking about Brits and not talking about Yannick Sinner as was advertised.
I mean, Sinner did actually save a break point on his own serve and held, but now it's juice on Eubanks serve for a double break. So it's gone from maybe almost being back on serve to potentially Sinner running away with it.
Yeah, I mean, Eubanks, he seems to be putting up more of a fight than I thought he would, to be honest. I didn't think that his game would work that well on clay, but he's broken Sinner's serve and has having his chances. Depending on how the rest of the match goes, he's acquitted himself fairly well in that first set and a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
About time we mentioned Chris. How are we feeling about Chris's chances keeping all those points he got in the grass court season? Mallorca champion, quarterfinals of Wimbledon.
We've spoke about this, and I just think there's a lot of pressure. Especially, I don't know what his ranking is now, but it's a lot.
I'm worried for him. Would be my description.
Are we going to be seeing him back in the commentary booth more regularly?
He is. I think he's great at that. So if he enjoys that as well, then good for him. to be honest, from my perspective. But I do think we'll see some good stuff from him on grass. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we'll see him completely, fall apart under the pressure of keeping those points. But it's going to be hard to keep all of them.
Yeah, his current ranking is 46. His career high was 29 in the immediate aftermath of Wimbledon.
And that's the thing as well, is he's going to be unseeded, so could get Djokovic first round at Wimbledon, and it's pretty much over.
Pretty much.
The top 100's loss is commentary's game, so
exactly.
Got a huge inside out forehand from Samsonova, which clips the net and dies on the sideline. And Samsonova holds for 4-1. Kind of, I think that was a genuine apology of, even I didn't want to win the point like that.
I'm sure I had Lynette winning that match.
Me too.
Same.
Remember, but I think I did.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough to see which way one that was going, because Samsonova just made the semis in Strasbourg, but she's so hot and cold, and Lynette seems more of a clay court player. That I thought maybe but it seems to be Samsonova's carrying the momentum that she's picked up.
Yeah, just to say that Jabeur's now underway, so whoever wants to watch that
might go over there. This Samsonova match.
Yeah, you feel free to switch, Matt, if you're not fancying Sinner anymore. I'm happy to stick with it for a bit.
I'll stick with this set at least, and then I'll see how things are going.
Maybe we just do shifts on Sinner.
Yes.
It's so bad. It's so bad, but it's just so straightforward. I know Chris Eubanks is having some chances, but even when he's having the chance, even when he got the break, we were like, yeah, it's not going to make a difference. Even when he's having the break points, it doesn't really feel like he's going to take them. It just feels like...
Yeah, not once I thought, this could get interesting. I just kind of thought, well done, Eubanks, but so they're going to take this set anyway. And just to say that the producers just said that Shelton has taken the second set to level it up.
That match could be one to watch if it goes 5. I think everyone will be jumping over that 5th set.
Yeah.
Whether you can hear it or not.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right, I'm going to turn on Vickery Jabeur for a bit. So now on WTA Weekly, Miles said that he put Jabeur on upset alert against Vickery. Kira, what do you think?
Yeah, we had a brief chat about this earlier and sort of said that there's no outcome, for me at least, there's no outcome of this match that would actually surprise me or shock me. I think if Ons lost really badly, that wouldn't necessarily shock me. If she won really easily, it wouldn't shock me. If it was a real battle between the two, that would feel appropriate as well. It's like, I don't know, I've picked Ons to win it because I sort of think she has built up some momentum in recent weeks, and it's a much better prospect than it was a few months ago. But I do think Sasha Vickery will put up a fight, and I don't think it will be easy, but it could be. I think it's very hard to predict.
I'm a bit more optimistic about Jabeur. I think that momentum she has picked up is going to be significant. She has just held the first game, by the way, with Vickery going for a return off a second serve, but putting it just wide the sideline. So good start for Jabeur to hold. But I'm optimistic for Jabeur this tournament. Although I'm not entirely sure how much of a happy hunting ground Roland Garros has been for her in the past, which is slightly surprising given her results at other clay court tournaments.
Yeah, I remember in 2022, I think it was, she'd won Madrid, reached the Rome final, and I think suffered a Sunday exit to Magdalena, and that was a surprise. So maybe this year will be, when she's kind of going under the radar a bit, maybe she'll produce a surprising run.
Yeah, because I remember that 2022, and like Lynette, in retrospect, didn't end up being a bad loss.
No.
But it wasn't ideal for someone that we were like, oh, it's a lock-in. We're going to get another Iga Ons final at Roland Garros. Oh no, we're not. Well, who is going to make the final? Turned out to be Coco. And that ended up being on paper a high-profile matchup, even if the actual final was a lot more straightforward. But yeah, Ons at Roland Garros got her best result last year, quarterfinals. Then lost to Haddad Maia, which surprised some people, not necessarily me, because I thought that I thought she might. I thought Haddad Maia was looking pretty good, but yeah, Ons not making the semis might have been a surprise for some people.
I'm just hoping for a third time lucky at Wimbledon. I'd love her to have one final go at Wimbledon, or maybe not one final go, but just to really just go that one step further this year.
Get that Novotna story.
Yes.
Although there can only really be one Yana Novotna, but yeah, it would be kind of comparable, especially given she's been there a couple of times before. I think she'll get a lot of crowd support at Wimbledon this year.
Yeah, me too.
I think she'll be one of the few players that the general British public know who she is.
Yeah.
I don't know, that might be going a bit far.
Oh yeah.
I think they probably still are stuck on. Most people are still stuck on. Where's Roger Federer?
Oh yeah, you always get that one person who shouts "Come on, Tim" from the crowd. Now.
And rightly so. Tim's got a lot of hard work to do at Wimbledon.
We're still waiting for that first Wimbledon title from Tim.
I've got faith.
Yes,
it's
actually,
not called Henman Hill for nothing. We'll back it up one day.
Could you imagine if we'd ended up having a Henman Murray final and Henman's like, yes, finally, oh no, I just lost the British kid.
That would have been a cruelty that just the world has not allowed to happen. Thank God.
Henman came very close to, did very well at Roland Garros one year, which surprised even him. He got to the semi-finals in 2004. Yeah. Apparently, the story behind it was he'd basically been struggling on clay his entire career, and basically he came out to 2004 and he wasn't getting younger. And he basically just went, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to serve and volley on clay. And I'm in the semi-finals.
So there's still a chance for Dan Evans to have a semi-final run.
I mean, Evans Runa, I think, could be a real blockbuster if we get Dirtball Dan out.
Yeah, I've thought that could be a good match.
Yeah, it could be a good match depending on which Dan Evans shows up, and especially since Runa's looking a bit ropey. But Kira, you don't look convinced.
I'm so sorry. Not to be a bad Brit, but I watched him against Rindic Nesh in Lyon last week, and I just thought, I know it was a 3-setter and it was really close and everything, but I also thought he looked quite like he was struggling quite a bit.
Is he someone else who's waiting who wants to get to grass?
I think so.
Oh, that's Vickery playing Jabeur her own game there with a lovely slice volley off the ground, right up at the net, or half volley, and countering Jabeur's drop shot really effectively and saving a break point. So yeah, this one might be a bit of a battle. Is it a battle on Suzanne Longland at the minute, Matt?
There's some good rallies, but it's a bit. It's just sort of going through the motions is how I describe it. Like there's some decent points, but it's still a break for Sinner. He's currently serving at 15-all, 4-2.
how much of a fight do you think Gasquet is going to give Sinner? I'm assuming it's going to be a Chatrier match, maybe even at night.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I can't see it being particularly. I could see maybe like a close first set, which Sinner wins, and then it's sort of been a bit more straightforward.
I'm gonna say it. I think Gasquet could take a set. I think with Chatrier behind him, and probably, like you say, probably only the first set. But I think he could possibly take a set, especially if Sinner hasn't really been challenged in this first match, and Gasquet brings a decent level. Then I think he could take. I don't think he could do much more than that, but
I could see Gasquet getting a set. Jabeur's hoping Vickery doesn't get a set, as she's managed to break the American now. So 2-love. Not a bad result for Sasha, for Jabeur there, who's like, oh my word, we're getting full Jabeur on display as she does a slice volley passing shot. Sort of from the mid-court. That's just this. We're getting an ONS masterclass here.
I love an ONS masterclass.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't want to see her in full flow?
She's pretty universal, I think. I don't think I think the majority of tennis fans enjoy what Ons Jabeur has to offer. I don't see many people not enjoying Ons Jabeur.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, like you say, I think even the Wimbledon watching Brits, there's still a fair percentage of them that would be aware of her, and probably one of the only maybe non-Brits or big three that they don't know, or they do know, sorry.
I'm just looking something up. There you go. Nerlan is absolutely right, by the way. Sasha Vickery has a win over Iga Swiatek in her career. Wow. Vickery beat Swiatek at the 2020 US Open in 3 sets in the second round. That was before Iga worked out who she really was, found her best self.
Yeah.
So that would actually have been just before winning the French Open.
Before, yeah. When she was kind of experiencing that sort of pre-French Open slump she was trying to get out of.
So maybe Vickery made Iga. I don't think so.
I think Arad Farouz had probably more to do with it.
Yes. Well, they're just showing on my screen now that Samsonova has beaten Nanette very comfortably, 1-1.
Oof. Good win for Samsonova there.
Yeah, because I think, like both of you, I had Lynette winning that one.
I'm just thinking of looking around. What else is happening around the grounds? Hugo Squire is at. Is it Hugo Squire? Squire's 2 sets to love up against Max Purcell.
I think it's
Hembry Squire.
I think.
Yeah, well, he's 2 sets to love up, but Purcell's got a 4-1 lead in the second set. Shelton's leveled up against Gasquet, which producers know about anyway. Paolini is 2 games away, potentially 5 points away from beating Daria Saville. Looking around, that seems to be, and Marketa Vondrushova looks like, Marketa Vondrushova has just got the win against Rebecca Masarova quite convincingly as well. So, yeah, I mean, how optimistic are we about Vondrushova this tournament? I I'm in a place of I'm taking it match by match with her. I don't know whether other people feel similarly. Oh, Gaston just broke.
I think I agree with you. I think, like we said earlier, that Vondrousova is just so inexplicable, but at the same time, so dangerous. Like there's just you can't predict her. You like to win. Like she could lose first round, she could win the title, which has shown that before. And I think we worked out that she was in Swiatek's quarter, which would be interesting if that did come to fruition.
She'd have to get through Danielle Collins, I think.
Which is not a nice, easy thing to do at the moment.
No, so far only Sabalenka and Keys seem to be able to. And I'm not entirely sure Vondrousova's got the power to compete with that. Lovely pass from Jabeur. Again, just sticking it over the net into the open space. It's 40-30, and Vickery is just like, what do I have to do to win a game here? This is wonderful, wonderful stuff from Ons. Just fully playing with that tennis ball. Huge forehand from Ons, really flat. Now she's got Vickery in the defense, goes back behind, then puts it into the open court. Vickery's going to run it down, scoops up overhead for Ons, who puts it away. Deuce on the Vickery serve. Kira, am I ahead or behind you?
I am still on Eubanks and Sinner.
Oh, okay, you stayed. Okay.
For my sins. So I'm joking.
Your sin.
But yeah, Eubanks is 40-15, looking like he's gonna make Sinner serve out this second set in a moment.
So you've both stayed on Sinner Eubanks.
Yes. I'm not quite sure why, but why not?
We're completionists.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least
maybe we can flip for it at the end of this second set. Who gets to switch?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Eubanks Sinner. At the minute, yeah, I'm looking at the score now, and Sinner looks pretty close to getting that 2 sets love lead.
I mean, it looks like the Ons Jabeur match is pretty straightforward so far, but you're sort of getting, like you said, the full Ons experience at least.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a bit harsh because, like, there is an argument that Jannik Sinner, yeah, it's not like Jannik Sinner doesn't play nice tennis. It's very he's the player that you would kind of choose to put on as like, this is the ultimate expression of really efficient tennis playing is. And there's something admirable about that, but he doesn't necessarily always hit kind of the flashiest of shots. Maybe you could also say the same about Iga, but I think the spin that Iga puts on the ball kind of makes up for it, because it's really impressive what happens whenever it hits the court. In terms of the top spin, Ons Jabeur likes her slicing and dicing much more. So that's probably a very similar experience, but for a different reason. But yeah, I don't want to necessarily say that before anyone comes at us that we think Jannik Sinner is boring to watch in terms of how he plays.
No, that's definitely not what I mean anyway. I think if I was watching Jannik Sinner at his absolute best and playing someone that was sort of maybe bringing that out of him and stuff, I really enjoy watching Jannik Sinner play in that scenario. But in this sort of cruising, but not necessarily playing best tennis, but doing well enough to win, is not as appealing.
Yeah, I think that there's no jeopardy in this match. It just kind of feels like we know what's going to happen. It's kind of just going through the motions, and I think there's some good rallies here and there, but it's like we kind of know what's going to happen. And now I say that it'll probably go to 5 sets, but we'll see.
Yeah, you never know with this. By the way, Darius Sutherland, Jasmine Paolini having an absolute marathon game, but Paolini's finally come through it to get a 5-1 lead. But like, she was, they were in that game for so long, like pretty much our entire conversation there. But yeah, I guess with Sinner, there is definitely, I think, a sense of he's quite proactive, even when he's kind of in cruise control. He does look for an opportunity to find the aggressive shot. In comparison to, say, someone like, I'm going to be controversial here, Djokovic, who I think when you see his matches, he's quite passive and makes forces opponents to hit through him, which is very, very hard to do, and only really breaks out his proactive play when he's really being challenged. Whereas I think Sinner tends to prefer to put people down, then keep them there with a little bit more aggression in his shots, even if he can just hit reliable tennis, if that's what's needed to keep him in that point.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, we've been saying how comfortable it's been, but now Sinner has just saved one break point and has now got to save another. So maybe it's not going to be as cruise control as we thought.
Maybe not with that. That's the one. It's just one break, isn't it? So
Yeah.
that would get it back on serve this set if Eubanks could break.
But of course, like Kira said earlier, she said it's going to be 2 aces, and it was a double fault, but this time it was 2 aces.
Yeah, I didn't say it this time, so he was able to do it.
There you go.
That's why I kept quiet. You're welcome, Yannick.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Yannick can only win with Kira's help. All right, so we'll see if Sinner can close out this set then. I've got Deuce on the live score. Vickery's actually in the Jabeur service game, by the way. 30 all. No, 30-40. Vickery's got break back point on Philippe Chatrier.
Another break point for Eubanks.
It was a very uncharacteristic wild forehand from Yannick.
Yeah, it was.
Jabeur's forehand there was not wild. It was very passive. Ends up in the high part of the net, and Vickery breaks back. We've got a set on here, 3-2. Can Eubanks break Yannick Sinner on Suzanne Longren? He's done it in the first set. Let us know what he can do.
Another brilliant serve. It wasn't an ace this time, but it was unreturned.
I just come to expect it from him now. When I don't, jinx it, and he's facing break points, it's just the serve that comes out is so impressive.
If he's ever played one of your favourites, just say it, and then it won't happen.
Oh, exactly. Oh, you can bet I will.
All right, we'll keep an eye on this one now. I think just to see if we can get to the end of this second set. Can Sinner close this one out?
Just gone long from Eubanks, so it's set point for Sinner, first of the second.
Big moments for the Italian who wants to establish a 2-sets-to-love lead and make it even harder for Eubanks. Such is the beauty of the best-of-5 system. And even more impressive when someone pulls off the comeback.
And there we have it. 2 sets to love, Sinner. It was a pretty comfortable point. And he survived, I think it was 3 break points in the end from Eubanks to 6-3, 6-3, I think.
Vickery seems to have found some good tennis here. She hits an inside-out forehand that places the ball in a spot that Jabeur can't get to. So she's at 15 love. Looking at what else happened, we just had Anastasia Potapova beat Rakhim over in straight sets. No surprise there. Hugo Gaston's trying to maintain his break advantage in the third set over Ben Shelton. Jasmine Powley's trying to serve for the match against Sarah Saville. Going with serve in the second set between Nishioka and Roger Aliassime. Aslan Karatsev is a game away. Has to break the Shevchenko serve. to make their match 1 set all. Max Purcell is 2 points away from getting the 3rd set against Square. And Hayley Baptiste has made it a set all against Kayla Day. So that one is going 3. I think the only other match going on is Rustavori and Kwon, which is going with serve in the 2nd set.
I've got to say, I'm not very impressed with Yannick Sinner's kit. I think it is for one of the top players in the world, 2nd seed, Nike are going to give Rafa Nadal something, on point. And I feel like they've given Alcaraz and Sinner just really boring kits for the French Open.
I'm not a fan of Alcaraz's at all.
What makes a good kit on clay?
Well, for me, number 1, not orange. Because the clay is orange.
Yeah, everyone's wearing orange this year.
I have said this on so many streams, and some people must be getting sick of me. But honestly, stop putting them in orange when they're playing on orange clay. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the only way it makes sense is if it doesn't show up as much if you fall over.
Yeah, but then like that's the whole point. If you fall over, that we get to know because we're like, oh, clay. So I don't think the orange kit. I think one of the big things for me, and this isn't a clay specific kit thing, is just a bit of like cohesion. So like, for example, with Alcaraz, he's got, I believe, like the grey top and the yellow shorts, and there's no yellow on the top and there's no grey on the shorts. Like there's no cohesion there. It just looks like 2 separates. It's not like a full kit.
It's very like lost property.
Yeah.
It looks like he's had to grab a shirt and a random pair of shorts from a shop because he didn't bring anything.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the same with Sinner for me today. Like there's a bit with the hat and the wristbands, but it's a bit disjointed.
Generic.
I
feel like for me a kit just has to be I like when people try things, like at least put a bit of effort in. Like Ostapenko, people can say what they want, but she tries.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually really like her kit. I'm not sure, but I liked the waistcoat ones very much, but I really like her kit for this. Actually.
I'm sure I've seen it.
Yeah, they seem to have got rid of a lot of the frills and things now, haven't they? They've kind of give it a bit more straightforward.
My favourite yesterday was Zhang.
Okay.
He had like pink and cream on both, on like the shirt, the shorts, and the shoes. It was all very sort of the same, but trying something a bit different. I liked it. It was good.
Drop shot from Jabeur is wide, and she missed out on breaking the Vickery serve again. It looks like they're closing the Longland roof. Maybe looking like the rain's coming in. I have to say, the sunshine in the UK is unexpected. I was expecting it to be raining all day today. Going back to kits. Okay, so we want something that's kind of out there in terms of like some colors, but like basically bright colors. We want bright colors that kind of blend properly.
Yeah. We want like an outfit, not just like a colourful t-shirt and a different coloured shorts. We want like a whole thing. Yeah.
And same for me in doubles. I'm a massive. Sometimes if I watch doubles and I'm not always, super caught up on the pairings, and there might be pairings I don't know very well. If they're wearing matching outfits, they're instantly my favourites. I hope they win.
Oh, I think the doubles players will have their names on the back of their outfits. Or their team name.
I just think they should match as well. Why would you have a doubles pairing that's got, one of them's in full green and one of them's in full red? It makes no sense.
Probably because you don't take clothing manufacturers into account when you're picking a doubles partner.
Well, no, but I think there should be some cohesion. I just like it.
But what I don't like is when two opponents wear the same outfit. I hate it. It's so difficult to watch.
Yeah.
So we don't want an all-Nike final, as Jabeur has missed a shot, as I'm not happy about it. She was disputing it with the umpire, but it was way out. And another break point is saved by Vickery. Drop shot from Jabeur. Vickery comes in, tries to go cross court, drags it too wide. Another break point chance for Jabeur.
Our producer said about the roof closing not being good for Rafa, which is a good point. It's not ideal.
Is it being closed on Chatrier as well?
Well, I think it's Jabeur on Chatrier right now.
Oh yeah, she is. Yeah, I keep getting mixed up which one's on which court.
I mean, it's hard to tell because they haven't showed the roof, but it looks like the sun's still coming in.
Yeah, they are closing the roof. So yeah, no, it's not ideal because that just brings up all the same conditions as 2022 for him.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll reopen it.
I was going to say, it's a long time.
Yeah. Well, on my scores now, it's saying that Shevchenko-Karatsev is interrupted. So whether that's for rain or not,
that would make sense.
But it's the only match that does say interrupted, so I don't.
No, everything's being interrupted.
Days are suspended. Yeah.
Oh, mine's obviously slow then.
Court 14 with Charlton and Gaston is the only one not saying interrupted on the outside courts. So we are getting rain in Paris.
Yeah, they're showing the roof closing now.
It's clearly not bad enough that like some matches can carry on, but
yeah, it might just be a slight delay.
Jabeur's got the break, by the way, so it's 4-2 30 love for the Tunisian.
I think I've got Ons Jabeur. I'm not sure which round it's in, but I think I've got her losing to Leylah Fernandez eventually.
That would be round 3, I think.
I have absolutely no idea where I had Jabeur. I'll take a quick look.
It'd be round 3 or 4. I mean, are you going big on Leylah Fernandez this tournament?
I don't think so. I think I've got Leylah Fernandez then immediately losing. I'm afraid.
Because basically the favourites to come out of this sort of section to play, it would be Goff in the quarters, are either Ostapenko or Jabeur.
Yeah.
Like essentially, most people in their brackets have got one or the other in there.
I think I've gone big on Garcia. That's where I've put one. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, I did see someone on Twitter. I think it was the Tennis Updates account. Say that they thought thought Garcia would beat Goff and make semis. Which I think
I've got Goff beating Garcia, but Garcia getting
no, sorry, it wasn't that. It wasn't Tennis Updates. It was Sabine Lisicki fans.
Oh,
classic.
Yes, they also had Swiatek losing to Sabalenka in the final, and I went, yeah, they're probably not. I'm not taking that seriously. Sean asking, would you enjoy watching a one-off match where the players play in the rain without a roof? Only on clay. I wouldn't want them to risk hurting themselves.
Or grass.
Yeah, I'd still find it a bit nerve-wracking. I think even on clay, I'd be a bit. If they slip on the line and then their legs got no.
Kira, I don't think you're much of a tennis. You don't play tennis that much, but have either of you? Okay, so maybe this is more a question for Matt, but have you ever played tennis in the rain?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not particularly moving very fast, so there's probably less jeopardy in me injuring myself. But I feel like I have played in like I say snow, like sleet before as well.
Only in Britain.
it's just I never felt a risk of injuring myself. But going to Jabeur, by the way, I think I had her losing in the second round to Kalinina.
Okay. I've got a scale of optimism about Ons Jabeur at the minute here. I have her making fourth round and losing to Ostapenko, which is probably optimistic for Ostapenko. Optimistic.
Yeah. I like it. Mashup.
Yeah. I've played in the rain a couple of times. The one that most I always remember is as a teenager, I was playing in kind of a junior league at my tennis club at the time. And I was playing a singles match against a girl who, it was my first 3-set match. It was the first time I'd won a set in a competitive match. And it was really, really close. And then it started raining. We tried to play through it a little bit, and then we had to stop because it was just getting too bad. We couldn't see where we were serving. There was rain falling in our eyes. And we had to wait for a bit for the rain to die off. And then the other two things I particularly remember from that match was losing in a deciding set tiebreak after missing a ball, and then noticed she got a run of points and got the job done. But between the second and third sets, she took a break to eat a double-decker. Which I was like, yes, that's the perfect tennis refuel snack. Americans don't know what a double-decker is. Apologies.
Oh, yeah, apologies on many levels if you don't know what a double-decker is. All things.
Controversial opinion, but we do chocolate better.
I don't think it's that controversial.
Yeah, that's not controversial. That's true.
Fine then.
Maybe it would be controversial with some people, but not with this three. I don't think.
Fine. Fact, we do chocolate better.
Yeah.
Go on, Kira. I was going to update on the score because
no, you go score first. Mine's just more tangent stuff.
This is a tangent stream. Like, this is what happens when we're trying to do multiple matches. Yeah, so it's Jabeur looks like he's trying to close in on this set, but I think no, it looks like Vickery's disputing a serve at the minute. So while they're arguing about it, Kira, what was your tangent?
We talked quite a lot yesterday about bold picks and bold picks in the draw and what makes a bold pick and I'd not heard the kind of bold Vanch thing before about the fact that it's bold if you predict the top 4 seeds to make the semi-finals, but it's not necessarily actually bold, but it's bold Vanch. Anyway, I think John posted some of his bold picks on Twitter, and I want to know, how bold do we think Badosa beating Bolter is? And Mickelson de Minaur.
The bold what I agree with, because I think Bolter she's okay on clay, but like she's a bit British clay player, and I think if you're going to get a seed, she's one of the seeds you'd want to get, respectfully. I don't know if I agree with the de Minaur one.
Yeah, I'm with you. It is set point Jabeur as Vickery's complaining about something. But I do agree with you that, it's not bold to predict Katie Bolter losing to Paula Badosa on clay.
That was my point. Thank you. I feel like that's a pretty, I feel like it would be quite bold to predict Katie Bolter to win that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then even though she's the seed, de Minaur losing to Mickelson, did he say?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's controversial. I think that is plausible, but I would still back de Minaur to do it. I still think de Minaur wins overall, but I think it will be a contest. But I think, look, if John picks Mickelson to win, I don't think it would be that controversial if that happened.
I'm sorry to put I don't mean to put it under the microscope with bold choices. I find it really interesting what the different scales are on how bold a choice is.
Jabeur's got another set point, by the way. So I'm going to keep... Go on.
Just to say that Sinner saved 3 break points in the previous game, came through it, and then broke Eubanks to love. So
very similar to the second set again.
Yeah, missed opportunities.
Vickery saves that break point, the set point. Jabeur's gone inside out on a forehand that's gone way wide. Yeah, at the minute, we've had 4 deuces. I'm pretty sure Jabeur's had 3 set points this match so far. And also, bold picks are fun. You know, when I shared my shared the WTA Weekly on the Twitter, someone replied to me saying, "Why do you bother doing all these picks when you're going to be wrong?" And I said, "Because it's fun." That was literally my reply. It was a disgruntled Elena Rybakina fan who was not happy that I was suggesting that she was 3rd favourite and would probably lose to Sabalenka in the semis.
I feel like that's quite a fair prediction. I feel like that's quite a nice prediction.
And even if she doesn't make the semis, she's probably not beating Swiatek.
No.
And make the final.
Yeah, I've had a few run-ins with similarly disgruntled Rybakina fans in my time, and yeah, I think they just. I find that sometimes they're a little bit more hardcore than Sabalenka fans.
I haven't run into that many Sabalenka fans because I get all the ones I run into are really nice. Vickery stuck another ball in the net trying to run down a drop shot from Jabeur, set point. Yeah. Rybakina fans, like there's a few Rybakina fans I interact with and actually are really, really nice and I really enjoy talking to them. That's more often than not. But yeah, there is they definitely get frustrated more than Sabalenka fans. But then I don't know because I don't interact with that many of them. I think the Sabalenka fans tend to be, they like Sabalenka alongside other players.
That's the thing, is like there's always going to be a few bad eggs in each group of fans, and it's kind of, and people kind of like remember them. It's like obviously certain fans of a certain world number one get a bad reputation, but it doesn't mean that every single fan of that person is a bad person. And I'm going to
all right, Matt, I'm going to apologise for that, okay? Apologise for that, all right?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the majority in any sort of player fan base are probably brilliant, lovely, reasonable people. But they get overshadowed by the people who are talking louder than them.
Yes.
Jabeur does not get the set this game. Vickery holds. Jabeur tried to go up the line which would have been into space, but the ball went wide, and the backhand was not good enough. So Jabeur's going to have to serve this one out.
I think my favourite thing about tennis fan bases is the fact that I feel like whatever player you think of who's in like the top 150, they've got a fan page somewhere. And I think that's great.
Yeah.
Like, give me a Zavatska fan page. Just, I think, go you. Like, some people just like to root for people that no one else is rooting for.
I ran into a Zizou Burks fan page very early on, and I was like, who is this guy? I've not even seen him play. And now we're talking about him trying to break into top 100. And obviously he also got that win yesterday against Tavio.
That was a good win. We were speaking about that earlier because Kira wrote a South American article, which I'm afraid backfired.
Timing, Kira.
I think the premise behind it was logical. It just, tennis isn't logical.
No.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I said this to John last night before we went live on Last Ball Drops, but my men's 4th round is already falling apart now with the absence of Jarry and Tavio.
Somebody, and I won't disclose who, but it might be me, might have one of those players in a semi-final, maybe.
That wasn't necessarily a bad idea.
Thanks. It clearly wasn't a good one.
All right, I'm gonna ask because we were talking about bold picks. Actually, I'm gonna do this match point, but I do have a fun question about bold picks for the both of you. 40-15 on Jabeur on serve. She's gonna try and close the set out for 6-3. Then we might get a Eubanks Sinner update because we haven't had one for a while. But we've got serve up the tee from Jabeur, forehand Jabeur up the line, short for Vickery. Drop shot Jabeur. No, it's just a super slice. Hits the baseline. Backhand cross court. So Vickery backhand goes up the line. Forehand Jabeur to the Vickery backhand. They're still going somehow. Backhand up the line from Jabeur. Vickery's going to run for the forehand. Jabeur's going to reach it. Goes cross court. Back behind Vickery. He's going to try and slice it. Way out of court. Jabeur fist pumps. She's in. She's got the first semi-final. That's good grief. This was that jumped way ahead. Jabeur's in the final. She's beating Swiatek clearly. She's got the first set against Sasha Vickery. What is happening with Sinner and Eubanks?
It's still a break. It's 3-1. Sinner, love 15 on Eubanks. So yeah, it's still kind of just it's very similar. I feel like every set has been quite similar. It's just sort of been Eubanks has had a few opportunities. He hasn't really taken them, and Sinner's kind of just pushed on from there. And it's now love 30, so it's could be a double break.
Would you say there's anything to sort of worry about at all for Sinner fans in terms of all the chances that Eubanks has had that he hasn't taken that perhaps a better player on clay might be able to take?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I don't like it. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but at the same time, I feel like a bit of rust isn't surprising when it's your first match since Madrid. And I think the way he's dealt with it, not always, because it hasn't always just been a big serve, but there have been times where he's just basically served his way out of the situation, which have been good. And yeah, I think generally it's been a pleasing performance for Sinner fans, especially as he looks to be feeling fine fitness-wise.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, we said who he'd play Gasquet the next round if he wins this. Which again, I think is a reasonably nice draw.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with what you're saying completely. I feel like it's just like a question that needs to be asked because obviously Eubanks has had the opportunities, but watching it, I think you can see that Sinner's pretty in control, and even when, and like you say, there's a little bit of aspect of rust here, and I think it's a good warm up for then kind of kicking on for the rest of the tournament.
Absolutely. Now at 30 all after a good put away.
Oh. So it's the battle for Eubanks to try and hold here on season long then.
Yeah, keep the match alive at all.
Do something. Jabeur's doing something. She's drop shot. She's doing the drop shot lob combination. The lob hits the baseline, and it's she's just gone over the baseline. Actually, it's 15-all. It almost worked.
In fairness, Eubanks has put himself into a game point position, so he's stopped the run of points for Sinner.
Right, not to be on hip watch, but did Jannik Sinner just hold his hip for a second, or am I crazy?
I feel like I know what you're talking about. It's hard to. Let's see. Yeah, interesting because he's just lost that game, but there is a bit of his walk seems a little bit
back.
A little, yes. That's a bit concerning. Just after all this whole time, we've been talking about how he looks fine, and now it seems to have. It's hard to say whether we're looking for things or if
I know.
We're both seeing is. I don't know.
I mean, with the hip, he was getting through Monte Carlo. City, I think he kind of until the final set against Tsitsipas. Then Madrid, he was still getting through his matches with Kotov and Khachanov. and obviously just pulled out to prevent it. So I don't think it would stop him from winning, apart from against a really, really good player. The question is whether it's going to get to the point of holding her back against someone who isn't in that kind of league as someone like a Tsitsipas or Rude on clay.
Yeah. And I suppose the thing is, he might not be. Well, he's definitely a contender for the title, but there's also other things that he could be targeting this tournament, like becoming world number one for the first time. I forget exactly what the conditions are for that to happen, but I know that Djokovic needs to go deep.
Djokovic needs to make at least the semi-finals to get it back.
Because I knew there was a slight alteration after he played Geneva, but I wasn't sure what that was.
I think Mario put that on Twitter. He hand wrote it out and put it on Twitter.
That'd be handy.
So it might be worth seeing if we can find that.
I'll have a look.
But yeah, well, let's see. I mean, let's see how Sinner's doing. He's got the opening point on his serve. Jabeur's broken in the opening game of the second, by the way. And she hits the forehand up the line from the net. It does feel like she should win this match. I mean, Vickery's making it a battle, but Jabeur does look like the favourite to come through this on long lane. But she is playing some spectacular tennis, as you would come to expect. But obviously, all eyes currently are on Jannik Sinner, his chance of world number one, and his hip, which, to paraphrase someone, doesn't lie.
It's a comfortable service game so far, currently at 40 love. So maybe he's feeling okay. It's tricky to say because, like you said, I think he could play through it in this match, but if he was playing against someone a little bit better, then it might be more noticeable.
And how worried might he get about making it worse as well if he's already feeling it? I think I'm reading into a lot of stuff now just because I know it's an issue.
Yeah.
But if he does feel it in this match, I don't know whether there's any worry, because I'm unfortunately not a physio, of him making that worse anyway by playing on a lot. Is he going to want to do that, regardless of whether he can play through it? I don't know.
Yeah, I've just found Mario's handwritten thing, and it seems to suggest that if Sinner wins this match like we expect him to, then Djokovic would actually need to make the final. Because he would be leading Djokovic by 15 points. And obviously, the further that goes, the harder it's going to be for Djokovic to hold on to it.
I'm pretty sure, if it's in a Djokovic final, there's nothing Djokovic can do to get number one, even if he won the French Open.
Yeah, because the maximum points Djokovic could get is 9,860, and if Sinner got to the final, he'd be over that. Which is interesting because, if Sinner's going into Wimbledon as the top seed, then I'd say Sinner is probably one of the top three. Well, that's kind of predictable though. But Alcaraz, Djokovic, and Sinner. But I just feel like Sinner, Wimbledon has already proven himself, and he hasn't played Wimbledon as well post-puke Sinner as such.
And look how well he did pre-puke Sinner, given the only person to stop him at Wimbledon has been Djokovic the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, you would imagine he would be. You would imagine he's going to be one of the leading contenders for that title. Maybe the grass won't be as hard on the hip because if his serve might be enough to keep him out of trouble, but then it depends on the impact the hip's having on the serve. The problem with the hip seems to be more the movement more than anything else for Jannik. But I would agree, he has to be one of the leading contenders for the Wimbledon title with Djokovic and Alcaraz.
And I
Not
suppose
like
the thing
French
is,
where anyone can win it.
I suppose the thing is as well, like this year in particular, it's a lot of big tournaments back to back to back, and that could have a big impact on Sinner's hip. Obviously, you got Wimbledon, the Olympics, then the US Open, and obviously the Roland Garros now, pretty close proximity to each other. So it'll be interesting to see how his hip does hold up in this period.
Ghosty asking if Sinner wants to be number one. I find it difficult to believe that he doesn't. Like, he wants that number one ranking. He wants that bragging rights.
He wouldn't want to be.
Who would not want to be the number one tennis player in the world? Maybe someone who doesn't play tennis. We've got Jabeur trying to get a double break here against Vickery, but Vickery's moving Jabeur around and manages to force an error on the backhand to get the point 40-30. Good grief, Eubanks got through that service game fairly quick.
Yeah, it was a comfortable serve. I don't know if it was to love or 15, but it was definitely one of his more comfortable games on his serve.
Yeah, I think look, if the hip's starting to give him trouble, maybe he might ease off the gas a bit. He's got the break, provided he can just serve well. Yeah. He should be able to get the job done. That lob from Jabeur getting the job done to get it back to deuce. So yeah, we're change of ends on Chatrier. We're seeing if Jabeur can get the double break. Getting the courts mixed up again. This is almost as bad as the Sabalenka Azarenka resident. Were you there for that one, Kira?
I think I heard about it on a stream the next day.
Wasn't my finest hour. For Matt, for those who don't know, Matt, I commentated on Azarenka in Charleston. So Sabalenka wasn't even in the tournament. And who was she playing? I think Azarenka was playing Collins. But I kept on calling Azarenka Sabalenka almost the entire match.
I mean, I suppose it sounds similar-ish, same nationality, both Australian Open, two-time Australian Open champions. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Still very different people. Got a break point chance for to go for the double break. Gets the forehand up the line. Vickery's scrambling for that one back. Forehand Jabeur up the line again, straight into the Vickery forehand strike zone. Jabeur's now moving her around the court again with the forehand. Goes backhand into the space. Forehand Vickery cross court. Drop shot from Jabeur. Vickery's going to come in and put that one away. That was not the right timing for that drop shot, and Vickery's safe break point.
That was a terrible overhead from Jannik Sinner.
Ooh, overhead's probably not fun if you've got a dodgy hip.
No.
It's now love 30.
Oh no. Drama may be about to be unfolding on Suzanne Lenglen if Jannik Sinner is running into some pain. Get the man some paracetamol.
It's really hard to tell whether we're just sort of seeing things because we know the hip. If I didn't know anything about Jannik Sinner before watching this match, would I think he was in pain? Would I think his hip was an issue? I don't know.
It's hard to tell without the sound, but so Sinner did with the point, but his second serve was very close, and then the Hawkeye on the TV is showing just how close it is. I mean, it's literally a fraction of the ball in from being love 40, like a few inches out, a few inches to the left. It's love 40.
Jabeur set up a break point with a wonderful dug forehand, and then breaks with another cross-court forehand. So Jabeur's got the double break. 3-love, but is Jannik Sinner going to have to dig himself out of love 40 here?
No, sorry, I worded that wrongly. It was in, but he had it been a few inches to the left, it would have been love 40, but it's actually 30 all.
30 all, okay. Okay, so Sinner's digging himself out of trouble. By the way, Ghosty, I actually know the answer to your question. Who had the shortest run number 1? It was Pat Rafter, 1 week in 1999.
What a wonderful week, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
He didn't even play that week. He just sat at home like, I am the world number 1 this week. Next week, oh no, it's back to someone else. I think it might have been Sampras or Agassi it switched back to. But...
To answer Matthew, sorry.
Go on.
I was just going to answer Matthew in the chat. He's asking why we continually mentioning the hip. A fair question. I think we're just probably more than anything concerned for Jannik Sinner about this hip issue, which obviously he's assured us is probably fine, so we should listen to him. But it just seemed to be a slight change in him where he sort of seemed to grab it and then walked a bit funny off the court. And Chris Eubanks suddenly seemed to be winning more points. So that's why we've sort of mentioned it. But Jannik Sinner has held for 5-3 there. So it's probably just us.
Or just the two of you who are actually watching the match. Because I'm just getting caught up in the hype here. I'm getting caught up in the hip hype.
Yeah. Hip hype is on the is on the decline. We should refrain from hip hype, I think.
Am I weird for wanting to break now? So it's like a nice score, 6-3, 6-3, 6-3.
No, I'm exactly the same. I always think that.
I'm glad my mind isn't just like on its own.
Be consistent.
Yeah.
It might not be the best score for Eubanks because that means he's lost by 2 double breaks and a single break.
Yeah.
But hey, he's acquitted himself well to win 9 games of this match.
Well, I think in the early stages of the first set, I thought it could be a similar scoreline to Alcaraz against Wolf yesterday. So he's done better than I thought he would. But not without volley, he hasn't.
Yeah, that was pretty poor.
I mean, if you put me in that situation, it would probably be much worse, but I'm a spectator purely today.
Jabeur's love 30, by the way. She's not playing this game very well. She might be in danger of losing this double break over Vickery. Drop shots, too good. Jabeur drop shot is firing. I wonder how long this Paris weather is going to be. I might look it up.
I keep forgetting it's raining. I suppose because you can't hear the sound of the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, you might think it's just overcast.
Yes. What a passing shot from Sinner there to set up a match point.
Oh, wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looked like Eubanks was going to hold and suddenly it's match point.
Yeah, it's gone from 30 love to 30-40 quite quickly.
And that one was a beautiful, like you say, passing shot from Sinner, but the previous 2 points really were just errors from Eubanks.
All right, keep an eye on that one then. Vickery's got points for breaking back. Jabeur stuck a forehand into the top of the net. Trying to go up the line.
Match point has been saved.
Break point's been
quite
saved.
Well as well. That +4 forehand.
Yeah, it was a good shot. Just to answer Ghost's question there, do I play tennis? I try for fun. I'm not particularly good, but I can hold a tennis racket and hit some form of shot. And I am from the Midlands, yes, I'm from Coventry.
I'm looking at the weather in Paris right now. So today, I mean, at the minute, it's light rain and a gentle breeze, which is not surprising because we can see. but apparently it's gonna continue like this up until about 6 o'clock their time. The showers may stop, but there's still like high chance of rain, actually getting higher around 4 o'clock Paris time, 3 o'clock our time, which is probably about when Nadal's probably going to be playing.
Yeah, that's not good for Nadal.
And then the rain stops at around 6 o'clock Paris time, and then you get like a couple of hours window where you might be able to avoid some rain. But yeah, they might struggle to get through the schedule today.
Sinner's going to have to serve it out because Eubanks did save match point and force that to be the case.
And avoid a symmetrical score.
I know, I'm not happy about it, but well, I suppose what we could have technically is if Eubanks wins this set by whatever score, then we could have 2 more 6-3s on the other side if Eubanks wins in 5. But I think I'm reaching a bit. And I'm not sure I can take.
Yeah, you can't take that.
I don't think so.
I tell you what, though, these matches might be finishing at around the same time, or we might not have that long because Jabeur's held, so it's 4 love. She's 2 games away. Vickery's at 30 love on her serve, but we were like, depending on if Jabeur quickly breaks, we could be in the last game for both of these matches. Don't think so though, because that's going to have to involve a marathon game for Sinner here.
Good start for him. 15 love, a good smash. So those have started to get better since he hit one into the net.
Are you doing the Świątek match, Matt?
Yeah, I could do it until around 2, which knowing Świątek is very doable.
Who are you on with?
I think I saw it got updated this morning. I think I'm doing it with Jerome. I think.
That's a fun combo. Vickery holds, so 4-1 keeps it the double break, avoids the bagel this set. Let's see if she can avoid the breadstick.
Eubanks with a good passage shot of his own, getting the score at 15-all, so maybe it will be a longer game. Definitely won't be. I've said that. So they just seem to be, in the last couple of games, wanting to come to the net a bit more, I've noticed. I don't know if he wants to shorten the points. I don't know if that's a sign of anything, but I feel like everything he does now is just reading into it.
I know. That hip hype has got us in a chokehold, but I have noticed he's been at the net more as well.
It's an interesting anatomical challenge, but anyway. Apparently Sean looks most like the tennis player out of the entire Talking Tennis team. I'm not entirely sure how Damien feels about that, given his recent victory in the Talking Tennis Open. Or the fact that most of our social media posts on Instagram is John's exploits playing tennis in Germany.
I know what he means, though. Jerome does look like he could be a tennis player.
Jabeur goes wide on the forehand, 15-all. Sinner having trouble serving this out by the look of it.
Yeah, 15-30. So a bit of a chance for Eubanks here. I'm still sort of expecting Sinner's serve to just sort of come good, but then I've said it now.
Double fault. Oh, what? You've done it again.
He's not double faulted. Go away. No.
Break points, Chris Eubanks. I've switched over.
I'm going to keep quiet for just a little bit.
All right. Are we going to get a last minute bit of drama on Suzanne Lenglen as Eubanks has had 3 opportunities already this set to break, according to the stats on the screen. with, but he's not converted any of them. So can Sinner keep that trend up? He gets the first serve in play, and it's too good. And first break point saved. 15-40. 30-40 even. So one more break point to get through from Sinner. He has been broken once this match, back in the first set. Kira's making the out motion. Kira's gone into line umpire mode. First serve is indeed out. Well done. You've earned your badge. We'll see you at Wimbledon. Second serve is really short from Sinner. Inside out forehand from Eubanks. Backhand Sinner just clears the net. Eubanks slides into that shot. Sinner's going to hit the inside out forehand cross court. Slice from Eubanks on the single-handed backhand. Inside out forehand again from Sinner. So Eubanks goes up the line into the net. And Eubanks is hunched over this time, frustrated. He missed the opportunity to break, and it's deuce. And that was Sinner again peppering the Eubanks backhand. Not a surprise. You could probably draw some errors quite a bit from that side.
Yeah, just the stat there showing 1 out of 10 break points for Eubanks. It kind of felt like that, whereas Sinner's taken 5 out of 10. So
you have to make the most of the opportunities that you get. Block back return from Eubanks. Backhand up the line from Sinner. Back behind as Eubanks ran over to cover the cross court, and Sinner's now set up his own match point.
Bit of a smile there from Sinner.
Yeah, it's this sort of like, gosh, I'm making this harder for myself, aren't I? That seems to be very much the message he was giving. Advantage to Jannik Sinner, clad in orange and grey. First serve out wide. Eubanks can't get a handle on the backhand. Sinner celebrates. He is into round 2 of Roland Garros, where he will be playing Richard Gasquet. And it has to be said, in that match, if you were to ask them, if you were to say that one of those players had a dodgy hip, it probably wasn't the one that you'd be expecting.
Yeah. It's a good job I stopped talking, because Yannick did manage to win every single point since I stopped talking. So well done, Yannick.
Kira will now no longer commentate on any Sinner matches.
Yeah, I think Sinner fans would like that at least. I think Eubanks can be pretty pleased with what he produced there. I feel like for somebody who doesn't particularly like clay, he did pretty well. I think we're on hip watch, but I feel like overall it didn't seem to actually have much impact, even though we thought it looked a bit funny at times. So yeah, I think it's a good start for Jannik Sinner, all things considered.
Yeah, hopefully it's just a twinge more than anything else, and he'll go and get that looked at, and he'll play for as long as he can be competitive, I think. So, yeah, so basically the only tennis happening right now, whilst we wait for the next match on Longlen, is Vickery Jabeur, which might be over in a couple of points.
Yes, I've just switched over.
Me too. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, trying to do that now. So we've got 15-30 for Vickery. Vickery goes up the tee, forehand in play from Jabeur. Forehand Vickery. They're going up the middle of the court at the minute. Jabeur's going to move to the Vickery forehand. Goes cross court. Forehand up the line from Jabeur, off the top of the net. Vickery's going to go back behind. Jabeur scoops it out. 30 all. I think, yeah, we've got an interesting match going on here. 30 all. Very long first serve from Vickery. That was almost at the baseline. Second serve. Drop shot, return from Jabeur. Vickery kind of hesitantly tries to run for it. Jabeur scoops the backhand pass. I think the return might have been long anyway. And Jabeur sets up match point in only on Jabeur style. Only on Jabeur would try something like that.
That was ridiculous. I love it.
I'm loving seeing Jabeur doing what she does again, because I can't remember the last time I've seen her just go full, like, drop shot demon here. Friend of the show, Shane in Jabeur's box, as Vickery serves up the tee, forehand in play from Jabeur, forehand cross court from Vickery, goes to Jabeur cross court, who's moving Vickery around. Oh, the cross court from Vickery was too good, and she saves the first match point. That was actually a nice forehand there from Vickery. Let's see if Vickery can get through this game, but she's put the first serve very much in the net. Under a lot of pressure here to get the job done on Philippe Chatrier. Backhand up the line from Jabeur, who's kind of got Vickery scrambling now. Backhand again up the line. Oh, that backhand up the line is the one that's been misfiring a little bit for Jabeur. Dragged wide again. She had the space. She didn't need to hit the line with it, but she went for too much, and it's advantage for Vickery.
She's always going to go for the line, isn't she? I think that's one of the things I like about her.
Yeah, she didn't need to, though. I think she could have given herself a bit more margin and won the point. Gets that point, though, by forcing an error on the forehand with her forehand, and Vickery's hunched over again, and she's tapping her feet with the racket. I think she just knows maybe she thinks she needs to be moving a bit faster. She does seem to be sort of limping a bit now, but I'm not entirely sure if that's mental more than anything else. First serve has a lot of margin on it. Backhand slice from Jabeur to the backhand of Vickery up the line. Forehand up the line from Jabeur, back behind, but just misses. Goes over the baseline. Advantage Vickery. I think for what you're watching, like, this is very much indicative of pretty much every single Vickery service game.
Right.
For those of you who haven't seen this match yet. Forehand from Vickery into the net. Trying to deal with Jabeur's cross-court slice. It's just Jabeur moving Vickery around the court as much as possible with all her tricks. Vickery serving at deuce, goes up the tee, backhand in play from Jabeur, forehand cross court from Vickery, forehand cross court from Jabeur. Vickery goes up the line with her forehand. Jabeur's going to try and run it down. The forehand too good from Vickery. She sets up another game point. The Jabeur bakery may not be open today. 5-minute game. Great serve up the tee from Vickery, right on the line. Backhand from Jabeur into the net. And there we go. Vickery's kind of limping her way back to the chair, but she's got herself another game in this set. It's 5-2. Jabeur's going to be serving this one out. Yeah, I think Jabeur's definitely given Vickery a good run around today.
Yeah. She does look tired, Vickery, but like you say, I'm not sure whether that's like physical or whether she's just sort of trudging because she's really sort of mentally struggling with this match.
Just thinking, Vickery's actually, I know Vickery's going up to get some stuff out the call box. Right, staying where she is. Yeah, I think this will be a good win for Jabeur. Definitely one that, if she gets this done, that's going to be really good for her momentum in Roland Garros to get a good win her way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, like, I predicted her to get knocked out in the next round to Kalinina, who still has to beat Osorio later today. But Jabeur, I feel like, with a few wins under her belt, I don't think it's, you can't really say where she's going to get, because her peak is probably at least in the quarterfinals.
At least? Oh yeah, so at least, yeah. Like, if she's playing at her peak, then yeah, that's what you would expect.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. It probably wasn't.
Yeah. Like, wait. Oh yes, now I see where you're going with that. Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, peak level, you would expect her to make quarters. Trading, so into a forehand rally again. Vicious forehand cross court from Jabeur's putting Vickery on the defense, and then finishes off with a forehand up the line into space. 15 love. just so much flat hitting from Jabeur. And for someone who loves hitting with spin, I'm always amazed at like how flat her strokes are when she's really going for it. Jabeur's wide. Gets the ball back in, second serve in. Great return from Vickery, though. Kicks up into space on the backhand, and 15 all. Credit to Vickery, she's trying.
That was a nice return, in fairness. Yeah, and just to answer Ghost in the chat, yeah, that's Tsitsipas confirmed. So it's not just Instagram, it is fact.
Oh, that's a wonderful forehand from Jabeur. I wasn't reacting to that news. It's a wonderful forehand from Jabeur to hit a winner 30-15. There we go. Maybe it's for the best if those two keep things a little bit sort of on the down low for a bit.
Perhaps. Never know. If they hadn't been so quick to tell us all that they'd split, maybe they would never have to at all. We'd be none the wiser.
There. Backhand drop shot from Jabeur, so good. And Vickery's dealt with that really, really well, trying to run down the pass from Jabeur. Can't do it. 40-15. She considers hit smashing a racket, decides against it. 2 match points for Jabeur. Matt, you were are you excited for Swiatek Jean-Jean?
It's a tricky one because I do really enjoy watching Swiatek play, but I find myself like steering away from the top players at the start of Grand Slam tournaments because their draws usually are more straightforward, and I think that will be the case today. I genuinely can see it being done in under an hour.
Well, that could be interesting if you're in a Nadal fight. Unreturnable serve from Jabeur to get the job done. 6-3, 6-2, which means Swiatek is on her way out at some point very, very soon. So, yeah, I guess, Matt, your challenge now is going to try and bring as much excitement to this match as you could possibly attempt.
It's going to be 3 sets. Third set tie break is John might win.
That's the one.
Either that or just have a good old chat about tennis with Jerome.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's our first time streaming together, so it'll be interesting.
Oh, I thought you'd been on stream with Jerome before.
No, I'm not going to say who, but I'm pretty sure we write for the same website, so I think there's some common ground there.
Nice.
I did wonder if that's how you knew each other, because
I definitely know the name.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. You know the name, so hang on. You've not actually met him before.
No, we never spoke at all. I think we're friends on LinkedIn.
About that workplace.
That's fun.
That's interesting. But yes, I am aware of the publication talking about Tennis Head.
Yeah.
So
yes, I didn't know whether to mention it or not.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Big rivals. I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, look, maybe when you start your own YouTube channel, we'll.
Yeah.
We'll talk, but there we go. So you and Jerome write for Tennis Head. So yeah, we're going to have the Tennis Head stream for Swiatek Jean-Jean, which is going to come up after this.
Lovely.
Which is going to be everything else. Whilst we're also waiting for Fucsovics Tsitsipas to get underway on long, which I think that one looks like that could be an epic.
It's got potential for an upset. That one does.
For sure. I mean, Kira, are we dual screening this one?
Oh yeah. Oh, you can guarantee it. Yeah, that's a definite dual stream. Obviously, I'm never gonna not watch. I'm always gonna watch Iga, but I think in terms of entertainment value, I think that Tsitsipas Vucevic one is interesting. I always sort of expect probably more from Vucevic than maybe I should. I just sort of think, especially in Grand Slams, I tend to think he can there's something he can always do there. I don't know why I really have that opinion of him, but I always sort of expect him to play well on a slam stage.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because obviously he's been to a couple of quarterfinals at Wimbledon already, so that would probably be why. He's now got a clay court title as well, so he should be a competitor. So hey, maybe Matt, on your Eager stream, one of you can watch Tsitsipas Vucevic and keep an eye on that.
Yes, yeah. The producer's actually telling me to leave now and have a bit of a break, so I will.
Yeah.
I will
take a break, Matt. Look after yourself.
Okay. Well, it's been great to watch the first 2 matches today, and hope you have a great rest of your bank holiday.
Will do.
Yeah, cheers, you Matt. Too, Matt. Thanks.
See you later. Bye.
Yeah, I'll be. Yeah, this is I'm going to be taking a break for the Eager match, and then be watching, and then I'll be back for Nadal Zverev. Yes, I'm doing that one with. Actually, it's going to be quite a busy stream. There's a few of us. I think Damien might be on there. Shatter might be on there as well as one other person, whose name is escaping me right now. You're done for streams today, right, Kira?
I am. I believe I am. As far as I know, yes, I am. So this is my one thing today. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the matches. How are you? Are you looking forward to Nadal Zverev, or is it a bit more complicated than that?
I think it's going to bring back memories of that 2022 semi-final, which was a slog for everyone involved. I mean, that was bizarre match in so many ways.
Yeah.
I'm going to be. I won't be lying. I will be there, rooting for Nadal to show why he is the king of Roland Garros in that match. If anything, so he gets a good exit. I have other reasons as well for wanting Nadal to win that one, but yeah, I think that's what we're kind of be looking for. Is it's going to be all about how is Nadal, how competitive is he going to be, and there's a reason why this is the match of the day, regardless of how good it is.
Absolutely, I'm struggling with working out whether at the moment I'm going to be able to enjoy it. I don't think enjoy it's going to be the word. I think I'm going to be pretty stressed watching that one. But yeah, like you say, for Rafa to really sort of, like you say, show exactly what he's about at Roland Garros and exactly why he's on the hunt for number 15. That's sort of the best I would hope for, at least.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right. Well, Kira, any final thoughts you want to do to sum up the 2 matches we've seen today, Sinner and Ons?
Yeah, so obviously I watched mostly Jannik Sinner today, and I think he played well. Certainly not Jannik Sinner at his sort of early 2024 ridiculous level, but I don't think anyone's expecting that at the beginning of the French Open on clay. I think it's a great performance to start his tournament, and I think he sort of he'll be able to build on that because it was a solid performance against someone who gave him a bit of trouble. Right, and we've got a quote from him here that the hip is good, so we can officially say no to the hip hype and accept that Jannik has told us that the hip is good. And I totally understand what he means about the general shape isn't 100% yet. You can see that, but he will be able to build on that with some decent early rounds. And I think Matthew was saying earlier, in general, his draw is pretty kind. So, I do think he's got as good a chance as any of those top players to sort of take this title. If the hip's fine, I don't think there's anything stopping him really from being one of the big contenders.
Yeah, I could see that. If the hip is fine, then yeah, he's going to be a contender. For sure. There's a part of me that goes, I will be interested to see how an Alcaraz match in the semis would go. I don't think I don't think Sinner's the favourite for that match if they're there.
No.
Not the clear favourite anyway. But yeah, I think that's going to be I think it's going to be exciting to see whether Sinner gets through, and yeah, his quest for the world number one in this tournament is this going to be one of the key stories. Ons, good win for her today. Showed what she could do, and she's going to be happy with that result. So I guess then it's going to come down to. So I guess then we should wrap up and start looking forward to the rest of the tennis. Kira and I are going to take an eager break, and we'll be back. And I will be back for Nadal Zverev once that's done, with a great team. But if you want to keep talking tennis, go jump over and join Matt and Jerome on our Iga versus Jean stream, where you might also get some updates of Tsitsipas. Thank you for coming on, Kira, and always being a great conversation.
Always a pleasure, Nick. Thank you very much. See you again soon.
See you all soon, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready. Play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah. My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Number 10, Marketa Vondrousova. Number 9, Sloane Stephens. Number 8, Beatrice Haddad-Maia. Number 7, Yelena Ostapenko. Number 6, Madison Keys. Number 5, Danielle Collins. Number 4, Coco Gauff. Number 3, Elena Rybakina. Number 2, Arina Sabalenka. And number 1, Iga Swiatek.